Onyx 1-2 Mike Oscar, runway 27, clear for takeoff.
Welcome to the Calm Cockpit Podcast Monday Briefing, your short reset for pilot well-being and high performance. This mini episode is designed to fit into your real life and get you set up to win the week ahead. Pilots, you are already disciplined, and what we don't need is more effort. Sometimes just clear reminders of positive habits that help us stay steady, focused, and aligned with how we want to show up in the cockpit and in our everyday lives. Each Monday brief covers one simple, practical idea you can apply immediately, something that will support your performance and set off your week on the right foot. Welcome, everyone. My name is Geeta Brown. I'm a midlife student pilot, and I'm also a yoga and meditation educator with over 30 years of teaching high performers how to improve their lives without adding stress. My co-host is John Niehaus, certified flight instructor and professional pilot, and he and I talk about all the time on this show that peak performance isn't about finding one magic solution. It's more about stacking small habits that support your brain, your body, and then, of course, by extension, your flying. So today I thought it would be fun to share with you 3 apps that I think every pilot should consider having on their phone. None of these are flight planning apps. None of them are weather apps, but they're all about taking care of you, that person sitting in the left seat, because we know a healthy pilot is a safe pilot. So let's dive in. One of my favorite apps, app number 1, Water Llama. If you have listened to this podcast for any length of time, you already know I'm going to start with hydration, because it's not just about avoiding or slaking your thirst. It's about that your brain is something like 75% water, and that even mild hydration can affect our attention, reaction time, our mood, decision-making, and our memory. And these are things that we really rely on every time we fly, but the problem we have is that most of us have no idea how much water we're actually drinking. We think we're doing okay with it, but maybe let's check in with that on this Monday morning. Are we doing okay with hydration? And that's why I love Water Llama, because instead of just telling myself I need to drink more water, it helped me to set a very realistic goal, and it makes tracking really easy. Every time you finish a glass or 12 ounces, you just tap it, and it fills up the Water Llama. It's literally, I have it set so it looks like a llama, and he fills up. And my goal is to fill him up by the end of the day or get close. And I really have noticed that I used this consistently for about 6 months when I was trying to change this habit. And I really did notice on the days when I was underhydrated, more brain fog, but really when I would notice it would be the following day. The day after I was slightly dehydrated, I would notice, especially in the morning, feeling brain foggy and a little bit out of it. Now, Water Llama, people kind of chuckle at it when I usually show it to them because it sounds almost too simple. But here is the thing, what we measure gets managed. What we measure gets managed. When we can actually see our hydration throughout the day, we're more likely to stay ahead of it instead of trying to play catch up like I used to do. It even has a little app for the Apple Watch. If you're an Apple Watch wearer, that it's just tap, 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 boom, you fill up that Water Llama and away you go. It's one small habit. It's one quick tap throughout the day. Helps us have a healthier brain and safer pilots. Give it a try. I will link Water Llama below. I'm sure there's other water tracking apps. This one's free. I believe in their paid version of Water Llama, you can also track your coffee, which for the record, I will never do. I can tell by my levels of anxiety if I've over-caffeinated, but I don't want to track it. Some things are sacred. Okay. App number 2, it kind of falls into the fitness and hydration category, and that is MyFitnessPal. This is really considered the gold standard of the food tracking apps. I know there's a lot of them out there, and you may have your favorites and you may want to argue with me, but every personal trainer that I've worked with, all of my colleagues in the wellness sphere, we dance around with the other ones and we play with them, but most of us end up coming back to the classic MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal has a completely free version that you can use that is incredibly robust. And especially if you're clicking on foods that have their checkmark verified, you know that you're actually logging the food accurately so that you're getting accurate measures. Some of the other ones, I just don't find them to be as accurate. I feel like their database is rigorous. And I have finally started to use the paid version, which also has a barcode scanner app. So if you're on the go, on the run, you can just scan the barcode for what you've eaten and it automatically tracks what you ate. But, I totally understand that tracking is not for everyone. But hear me out for just a moment and just do a little mental experiment. What if we consider that tracking your food isn't about being perfect or about meeting a certain goal of what you, quote, should be eating? What if it was just an experiment in training ourselves to be more aware, to pay attention to what's happening, rather than measuring ourselves by some external goal of what we should or shouldn't do? What would actually happen if we just paid attention to what we're actually doing? Because most of us, we think we know what we're eating, but until we see the numbers, we really don't. Like in my case, I discovered I was well below, like more than halfway below the amount of protein that I was recommended to eat for my age, height, and weight. And I was shocked because I thought I was getting enough protein. I realized that I was completely way off. And having the numbers actually really helped me dial in, and they changed my food habits. And I can tell you that my workouts in the gym have been much better. My sleep is much better. And I don't think I would have known that had I not actually gotten granular for like a full month and just tracked my food and saw the numbers. So information for MyFitnessPal isn't judgment, it's freedom. And you don't have to track forever. I'm in like a maintenance mode right now. I'm not trying to like lose weight or anything. So a couple of days a week, I just check in with it to see if I'm in the ballpark. And then the days around it, because I have concrete information from the days before, it's much more easy for me to replicate that and stay on my goals. And I can tell you that north of 50, staying fit, healthy, and relatively slim is like a part-time job. And MyFitnessPal actually makes it easier for me to maintain my weight than just winging it like I could get away with when I was in my 20s and 30s. So this is really just about helping us be consistent with what we're doing throughout the day. I kind of think of it like an engine instrument check, right? We don't like become obsessed with the oil temperature gauge. You glance at it, see if it's in operating limits, make an adjustment if it's not. You just use the information to make good decisions, and your nutrition deserves the same approach. Food is fuel, and your brain is so energy hungry. It needs energy. And if we expect ourselves to perform well in the cockpit, let's pay a little attention to what we're putting in the tank. And that's why I am recommending MyFitnessPal as my number 2 app that every pilot should give a try. I got one more app for you for this week, totally on a different tack, and that is Insight Timer. I think this one might be my favorite of the 3. I've been teaching yoga and meditation, for decades now, and one of the biggest obstacles my students face isn't necessarily learning the mechanics of how to meditate. It's simply getting started. And by getting started, I mean getting started overall, deciding that you're going to give it a try for a month to do it, but also getting started on the daily to just put the butt in the seat and do that work. An Insight Timer, for myself, has really removed a lot of that friction of getting started. Because some days I don't want someone talking at me. I just want a timer that is beautifully simple. And what I really like about it is I can set it, I can close my eyes and do my meditation, and when the 5, 10, 15, or 30 minutes is up, it ends with a gentle sound, and that's it. I don't have to turn the gentle sound off and pick up my phone to take an action. It just rings the chime, and it's done. And that's really big because I don't get sucked then back into my phone of like, just checking the weather and just checking email. And before you know it, that meditation has kind of been evaporated because I've been sucked back into the world of my phone. And I think it's really, really huge. The other reason I will recommend Insight Timer for you is that there's times when we're just mentally tired. been a stressful week, you've been flying a lot, things happening with the kids, and they have so many free guided practices on Insight timers. There's thousands. There's breathing exercises, relaxation practices, yoga nidra sessions, sleep meditations, stress reduction meditations, meditations to help you with focus, to help you with weight loss. Whatever you need is there, so you don't have to figure it out by yourself and have it be another project. Sometimes letting someone else guide us in a meditation is exactly what our mind and nervous system needs. And why not give that to ourselves? And remember, meditation or guided relaxation or visualization doesn't have to be a big project, a big 30-minute endeavor. 5 minutes counts. 3 minutes counts. 1 intentional deep breath counts. An Insight timer can help you to do that. The consistency will matter much more than the duration. And I find that for myself, a simple timer like Insight timer that also has some guided things baked into it really, really helps a lot. So I recommend Insight timer as another app for you to try. So as I kind of wrap up this Monday briefing, you'll notice one common thread between these 3 apps is that none of them actually do anything to make you healthier, calmer, or safer. You are the one that can do that. These apps I'm recommending simply remove barriers. They make healthy choices easier. And what we know about motivational and positive psychology and the way our brains work is that when our environment is set up to support our health and wellness and performance goals, it becomes easier for us to meet those goals. So removing barriers to accessing your health and wellness makes a lot of sense. They make healthy choices just easier to do. It's like having a beautiful bowl of fruit on the counter rather than a bowl full of candy. If you see that bowl full of fruit, you'll be likely to grab the apple or the tangerine or the beautiful pear. If the only thing there is candy, you're going to grab the candy. So why not put the fruit there? And, I love chocolate, so I'm not saying don't eat the chocolate. I'm just saying set up your day, your week, your space so that you're supporting your healthy initiatives. These apps are also providing feedback, which is great. We love positive feedback. They help build consistency. And whether it's drinking enough water with Water Llama or fueling your body well, maybe tracking protein or fiber for a week or a month with MyFitnessPal, or taking 5 minutes to regulate your nervous system with something like Insight Timer. These are the tiny habits that compound over time. And that's what creates resiliency. It's not giant changes or making like performance or wellness a big project in your life, just small actions done consistently over a long period of time. And as pilots, we're trained to use checklists, and we use them because, we're kind of perfectly imperfect. And these apps are like checklists for your health. They help us remember things that are easy to forget during busy days. So here is my challenge for you this week. If you don't have one of these apps already, maybe pick one and download it and use just one. Treat it like a 1-week experiment and go into it saying, I'm curious about what I'm going to learn about this habit. And then just notice what happens for you out the week while you use it. Positive, negative, whatever you learn, it's just information that you can use to help support yourself and your life and your flying. Because becoming a better pilot isn't just about accumulating flight hours, it's about taking care of you, that person who is flying the airplane. So check out those apps. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear. Drop me an email at calmcockpit@gmail.com. And I really thank you for spending a few minutes with me today. I love to hear what you think about it. If you enjoyed this Monday briefing, be sure to follow the Calm Cockpit podcasts. Maybe give us a 5-star review if you feel so inclined. And even more importantly, if you know another pilot who could benefit from this kind of stuff, send this episode their way. We'd really appreciate it. All right, give those apps a try. Let me know what you think. And if you have any that you think should be featured on a future Monday briefing, please send them my way at calmcockpit@gmail.com. So until next time, have a fantastic week. And as always, fly smarter, and stress less.